Good afternoon from Munich. My name is Eugen and I love to travel, and I'm gonna present to you a couple of sites you need to see while you are in Munich, if you ever are in this city. So yeah, I'm just in front of Nymphenburg Palace, which was the summer residence for the Bavarian kings from 1715 till 1918, the end of the First World War and the end of Germany as a kingdom. So yeah, Nymphenburg Palace is quite big. Is what you see in front of it, and it has this huge lake, huge pond over here. There you go. And the lake is starting to freeze. It's somewhere around 0 degrees, and we're having this very icy rain, which every now and then transforms itself into snow. Yeah, so we're gonna have a cold 72-hour period in Munich. Yeah, the palace is pretty nice, honestly. How could you even clean a place like this? You probably need like a team of servants to actually maintain the place only. But very nice. Everything is neatly cut. All the hedges and the grass is really well cut. Almost like an English palace, actually probably the same quality. And look at it. It's Nymphenburg Palace for you. Very nice. And all this pond system in front is really amazing to look at. And we're now at the beginning of winter, but really in summer must be pretty nice. Yep. It's a palace for you. And there's an entry to this palace, as far as I know. So if there is an entry, I'm not going to be able to visit it, because I just want to cut costs on the whole thing. So basically, let's see exactly if I can get in or not. So I just found out that the ticket entry is 10 euros. So basically, you can't get in the building itself. But look, I certainly doubt there's anything world-shattering in this palace that other palaces of similar size in Europe don't have. I'm really in doubts about that, but you can see the gardens. Well, the door is open for the gardens, the gate is open for the gardens, so I hope it's okay if I enter. Let's see. Yeah, there are people there. Should be fine. Yeah, see? Yep. There's some interesting gardens which go a long way in that direction. And if you're wondering what are these wooden structures here, well, inside these wooden structures you have statues that are being encased. So basically, either they're refurbished or they're being protected from the elements, because the elements destroy even stone. The differences between winter temperatures and summer temperatures can erode the rock very fast. So yeah, Nymphenburg Palace. For you? It's an interesting structure. And the gardens are really well preserved. To English standards of gardening, which are still the highest in the world. Yeah, because I've seen a lot of castles with parks and gardens in Germany, and the Germans have a different way of seeing things when it comes to gardening, because they leave it like a bit more wild, a bit more untrimmed. The English just humanize the landscape and trim every square centimeter of it. to perfection. But some German gardens of palaces adopted the English style. Yeah, this is one of them. But I'm sure Munich has more to offer than this palace, this beautiful palace. So yeah, let's check out what else Munich has to offer. So yeah, I'm in Karlsplatz at this point, and I'm gonna walk towards Frauenkirche. Apparently there's a nice pedestrian area here. Let's say it's about half a kilometer, maybe 800 meters that way. And yeah, we're gonna cross through Karlstor. Yeah, because Munich, as Berlin, has these gates. For example, in Berlin you had Brandenburger Tor, but here you have gates like this Karlstor, and these were also gates which were used as starting points for commercial roads towards other cities or from other cities. So yeah, this is the pedestrian area. It's very, very nice. This is actually the best part of Munich I've seen so far. Literally, this is the best I've seen so far, in my opinion. And from what I see at this point, I think it looks better than Marienplatz. That's just my personal opinion, anyway. So yeah, towards in that direction, we should find Frauenkirche, which is a church, the women's church. Direct translation from German. Very, very nice indeed. A lot of outlets, but the way everything looks like. Again, this is like a very nice high street, very functional high street, very aesthetic high street at the same time. It makes me think of a medium to large English city as well, without the homeless. Another thing, Munich doesn't have a lot of them. Yep, Munich doesn't have a lot of homeless people. And it's shocking because all big cities in Europe do have this problem. Munich doesn't have it. From what I've seen, like, I've been here 5 days already. So. Probably there are, but if there were so many as in the other huge cities in Europe, really you would have seen them. But really, here there's no problem like this. Yeah, apparently something is being shown in the distance. There are some cathedral-looking structures in the distance.
I paid that like $3.80.
Yeah, I love this place. Very nice.
Awesome.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Munich.
Yep. St. Michael Church. let's find the Frauenchurch. Found something really interesting. Just before the Frauenchurch, the Frauenkirche, we have this one. FC Bayern store, yeah? One of the most famous clubs in the world. And the most famous club in Germany. He has around 35 titles, national titles in Germany. Yeah. There are many cathedral-looking structures here in this section of Munich. Really the best part of Munich, honestly. And finally I found the Frauenkirche. Because I passed it apparently by mistake because I didn't know how it looked like. I'd never bothered to check how these things look like online. And yeah, there's this very, very tall building. Huge building. Cathedral called Frauenkirche. This is one of the attractions of Munich. So, a couple of hundred meters away you have Marienplatz, but all this area between Karlsplatz and the Frauenkirche looks much better than the tiny overcrowded Marienplatz, which is still an objective for everybody to see when you are in Munich. Yeah. But yeah, let's check out Marienplatz. Good morning from the English Garden in Munich. Well, for some reason this location appeared to me on the recommendations of locations to see in Munich. So, well, I'm gonna see it, isn't it? Well, my name is Eugen and I love to travel. I'm here in Munich in the English Garden, which is a very similar park because in Germany this is a garden, not a park, because everything is trimmed. It is cut, well, as much as possible, as you can see, and is really well taken care of. And this is similar to Hyde Park in England, in London. Very, very similar. And it's up to standard with the gardening work that has been done there, you know. I'm always comparing the gardens, the parks in England with the parks in the rest of the world because the English parks apparently are the best. Well, I've never been to New Zealand or Australia. I heard they're great as well, so. But Munich has a couple of parks, and this is one of them. And basically Munich, it's a very nice city. It has a lot of good architecture, a lot of churches, a lot of old buildings, some nice pedestrian zones as well, but really it's kind of not functional. It's unfunctional because the transport, the S-Bahn and the buses and the trams are always late and they don't cover the city very well. It's really bad. Too bad because Munich is not an option to live in my opinion, and Berlin is much better. I think Berlin and maybe Hamburg are the only options, the only real options if you can choose to live in Germany. So yeah, but Munich is a beautiful city anyway. Munich is a beautiful city. You have these parks like this. And again, maybe I don't know, I'm not a local, I don't live here, but I didn't see many entertainment opportunities here for some reason. And also no Spätis. In Germany, more in northern Germany, but also in the rest of part of Germany, besides Munich, we have these Spätis, these kiosks. Well, these kiosks don't really exist here. I didn't see many. I've seen like 2 or 3, and near big train stations, and that's it. So no Spätis. If you want to have a beer, let's say later in the evening, there's no options other than to go to the restaurant. Because supermarkets, I've seen supermarkets here close at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, supermarkets closed. Really strange. I don't see Munich becoming a global city anyway. Because of this, it's like really old-fashioned. Incredibly old-fashioned. Everything closes very early. And people are very withdrawn. Very withdrawn for some reason. And the city is about let's say 1.6 million people, so it's less than half of Berlin. Berlin is like 4 million people, and you can feel this. It feels like it's a fifth of Berlin, the way it's set out and the way it runs, really. And they say salaries here are bigger. Well, they're just a tiny bit bigger, and the rent here is bigger than Berlin's. Why? Why would you pay rent here more than Berlin? Who offers you everything at any hour of the day and night? Well, this is the English Garden. And yeah, Berlin has more homeless people than Munich, for sure. I've seen only a few homeless people in this city in the last week. So I'm here for a week. But basically, that should be good news, and it is. But still doesn't make me prefer Munich to Berlin, really. It's a nice park, the English Garden. And it's pretty big as well. Pretty big park. Why this is featured in attractions in Munich? Why? I don't understand. Even though it's nice. So yeah, I better check out other attractions here in Munich. And yeah, I'm close to Marienplatz. I'm in the city center of Munich, and basically it's a nice pedestrian area, most of it at least. See? And Marienplatz is just straight ahead and to the left, and is the most famous area of Munich. And there you go. It's pretty interesting for Munich because it's a bit boring. And people just selling here Christmas stuff and Christmas themed food, like for example Bavarian sausages, which are very expensive. And yeah, I'm facing the sun is a bit too much. The weather has straightened up because in the first 2 days I was here, it was snowy, and in the third day we had snow on the ground, 5 centimeters, maybe 10 centimeters of snow, and then the weather got a bit warmer and it melted. And now it's like sunny and no snow. And we're entering the famous Marienplatz. So, it has some interesting buildings. There you go. But it's basically cramped, full of Christmas markets that sell very expensive stuff. And from here you can see the famous Rathaus of Munich in Marienplatz. The building is big and it's in a very tight square, very small square, filled with Christmas stuff. So I can't just get far enough from it to either film it or photograph it. So not even if I go all the way to the other side, I can't do that. Really, because this wasn't thought out for being filmed or photographed. But still, the building is impressive. What can I say? It's quite beautiful. So yeah, this was Marienplatz. Let's see what's next. And yeah, I'm here near the river in Munich, because Munich has a river as well, and it's called the Isar. Basically this thing here. So it's not very big, and the area surrounding it is being refurbished, or I don't know, there's not much to refurbish. I like this tram, this 17 is very useful. This tram, it's more useful in my opinion than the S-Bahn, because it has a very direct route from the eastern station towards the central station, actually passing the central station going towards West Munich, and it comes on time. And the S-Bahn, sometimes you have to wait 15-20 minutes to get it. This is the Isar. This is how the valley, well, the banks of the Isar really look like. And Isar is very close to the center of Munich, but instead of making this the main artery, the main shopping area and the main fun area with bars and restaurants, there is almost nothing. Wow. So this was Munich for you guys. So yeah, my name is Eugen, I love to travel. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell if you really like what I'm seeing, what you're seeing, and yeah, you know the drill. So far so good, so what? Bye bye from Munich. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and also, you know the drill. So far so good, so what? Bye bye.